Welcome back to the Content Connection series hosted by the Learning Resource Center South at Rowan University. I'm Mary Hartman, and I'm here with a great Earth Day activity that involves both upcycling and planting a garden.
Upcycled Mini Greenhouses will enable you to reuse plastic bottles to create the perfect environment for germinating seeds in order to start an herb garden. If you're like me, trying to make sure those science projects on the windowsill got watered when they needed to was always the most difficult part of any project using seeds. Building this mini greenhouse will require little to no watering during the seed germination stage by using the concepts of the water cycle to help your plants get a good healthy start for the extension activities. This activity explores several next-generation science standards concepts in life sciences and examines both the water cycle and plant life cycles with what plants need in order to grow in optimal conditions. Students will be able to see the water cycle in action by viewing the evaporation, precipitation, and condensation within their greenhouse bottles while watching their plants grow. This experiment is best suited for students in grades K to 5 with adaptations for aligning to the standards by specific grade level mentioned in the activity plan, which can be downloaded below this video. For this activity, you will need the following items. 5 clear plastic bottles, like water or soda bottles, with lids but without labels. Seeds of your choice dated for this growing season. We're using basil and Fordhook zucchini, but any garden herb or seed will do. Potting soil. Spoons or small garden tools. A permanent marker. A ruler. Scissors that are strong enough to cut through thin plastic. A small bucket that is large enough to hold at least 5 cups of soil. A hole punch and a cup that is large enough to fit your bottle. This will enable you to create an option for students who need assistance in drawing a line around the bottle. The activity plan and data sheet with plant life cycle activity, which can be downloaded below this video. And finally, a few helpers. Now we're going to build our mini greenhouses. At this point, it will be really helpful to have the activity plan in front of you for reference. Prepare your bottle by cleaning it out thoroughly and removing any labels or stickers. Draw a line around your bottle about 1/3 of the way up from the bottom with the permanent marker. Let's see how the team is doing with these first few steps.
All you're going to have to do is just hold the marker in the hole, okay? I'll hold this. You hold the marker. Put that in there.
Keep it nice and tight, like jammed into the bottom of the cup.
I'll hold this. You just have to hold on 1 second. Okay, good.
For the next step, it will be helpful to remove the lid from the bottle. Adult assistance may also be needed to pinch the bottle inward and make the initial cut. Using scissors, cut along your line until your bottle is in 2 pieces. Be sure to put your lids back on when you are finished cutting so they don't get lost. I will give you a hand because we're going to take everybody take your lids off because it's easier to pinch the bottle when the lid is off.
Because the air is able to escape.
Alright. Now, if we looked at my example, you'll notice something about the example. What do you see there, Jackson?
2 slits.
2 slits. Okay? You know what those slits are really good for? It's for making it easier to fit your top back into your bottle. On the top part of the bottle, the part with the lid, cut 2 vertical slits coming up about 1 inch from the bottom. This will help you fit the top part of the bottle back into the bottom part later. You may also want to have your students practice fitting the parts back together now so that it's easier for them once the soil is inside. And then what I want you to do is see if you can practice trying to get your top part of your bottle back into your bottom part of the bottle. Awesome. Alrighty, our next step, guys, we're going to need to make our soil so that it's wet enough that our seeds will grow,
but not too wet like mud.
Like the team said, the soil consistency in the next step is very important. In your bucket, mix 5 parts of your potting soil with 1 part water, making the soil damp enough for your seeds to germinate. If the soil is too dry, add enough water little by little to make the soil damp, but not wet. If the soil is too wet, add a bit more dry soil.
Gavin, you can mix up that dirt. Really good, right? So, Gavin, does it look dry or does it look wet?
Still looks dry.
Okay, so what do you think Alex should do?
Pour the water in there.
Pour more water in. All right, you listen to Gavin. He'll tell you whether it's too wet or too dry. Hang on, because we need to make sure that there is enough water in our soil
To make the seeds grow.
to make the seeds grow and to make the water cycle happen in our greenhouses.
Yeah.
So we're actually going to need probably the rest of that water in that cup. All right, we'll give it one final mix. I need the volunteer to reach in there and see if you can make a ball with the soil.
Me. Yes, me.
That's fine. All right. Does that seem like it's a nice, soft, wet ball of soil?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. That is exactly what we need.
The soil should be damp enough to form a soft ball in your hands. Using your tools or your hands, add enough of the damp soil to the bottom of the bottle to fill within about 1 inch of the cut edge.
Maybe we could all
All right, we can pack it on down in there.
Yeah.
Now, not too tight, not loose enough so that our roots will be able to go.
Now it's time to plant your seeds. Poke a hole in the soil with your finger or a pencil, as deep as the seed package tells you for planting. If you're using small seeds, drop 1 to 2 seeds in the hole. If you're using a larger seed, plant only 1 and cover the seeds with soil.
You're going to take 2 seeds
They're small.
and you're going to put them in the hole.
They are very small.
They are very small. And then we're going to cover those over with dirt. I have a couple other seeds if somebody wants those. And we put 2 in just in case the one doesn't grow. So then we have more of a chance, here we go,
And you
more of a
have
chance
to
of getting them to grow.
you have to bury them and kind of pack it down.
Just lightly pack it down. That's all we need.
Like barely
Couple in the
touch it.
hole.
If you'd like to use your greenhouse to view seed germination and sprout growth, plant the seed against the edge of the bottle. A video example of what you can see by doing this can be found in the supplemental materials for this activity below. Fit the top part of the bottle back into the bottom part of the bottle, making sure the top half is inside the bottom half with the lid on. This will ensure a self-watering action of your greenhouse by using a real-life example of the water cycle in action.
Now we're going to fit the top part of our greenhouse into the bottom part of our greenhouse so that the water cycle can happen effectively. It'll take a little practice, but if you can squeeze the sides so that the top nicely fits in the bottom, you'll have an effective
Like this.
watering system. If you
Then
need
they'll
help,
grow
make sure
inside
you
the greenhouse?
they're going to grow inside of here.
Yeah, and after like 3 or 4 days, you'll start to see little sprouts pop up.
Longer than that.
Neat.
Usually it's about a week. Yes, you'll see the sprouts coming through.
Neat.
Those starts of the plant. I love that you're using the vocabulary that we learned. You got it? Now what I'm going to do with these, I'm going to put these in a nice sunny window. Now, here's where we need to talk about the water cycle. Because,
If they get too much sunlight, they would die.
well, that's true. But if you look at your bottles already, do you see something happening on the side of your bottle?
Yeah, they're
it's
already
packed.
Well, look, I'm talking about what's collecting like on the side of my bottle. Mine might have been in more sunlight. Look,
water.
I have water. What's happening here? The air inside of the bottle starts to warm up.
Yeah.
So what happens when the water in the soil starts to heat up? Do you know, Henry?
Yeah, so it'll go to the top of the bottle and like form air at the top.
So what is it called when the water in the soil goes up?
Evaporation.
Evaporation, awesome. And then it's going to come up to the sides of the bottle. So you'll notice the bottle start to get cloudy, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then what do you think is going to happen if we have clouds up here at the top of our bottle?
Condensation.
We're going to have condensation. So kind of like rain, but it's not. You're not going to see it rain. But what you will see is the water start to drip down the sides of the bottle. So the water in the bottom goes up to the top, it condenses, it falls back down, and you just made a system where you don't have to water it until after you take the lid off. Place your greenhouse in a warm, sunny location until the plants grow to at least 1 to 2 inches tall. This time frame will vary depending on the type of seed you are using. Basil will typically need about 3 weeks to sprout and grow. Thank you for watching this edition of Content Connections presented by LRC-South at Rowan University. We hope you enjoyed getting your garden started with us. Don't forget to check out the links below for the activity plan and data sheet with plant life cycle activity. You will also notice that the last page of the activity plan contains resources that are available for borrowing at LRC-South to provide some food for thought about plants and seeds. There's also a link to our LRC Express service in the activity plan to make borrowing resources easier. Please check back soon for another Content Connection video using our Upcycled Mini Greenhouses for more plant experimentation.